State investigation finds the city of New Orleans hasn't spent millions of dollars meant for school children and drainage.
Those millions come from traffic camera fines. Tonight, Chief Investigative Reporter Stephen Stock looks into why the money sits unspent.
Every year, 111 traffic cameras in school zones, at intersections, and in mobile traffic units throughout New Orleans catch speeders or red light runners. According to the city budget in 2023, generating more than $20 million in fines from hundreds of thousands of citations.
Did I start speeding right here?
Al Phillips remembers the moment he got a ticket from a traffic camera in a school zone, even though it wasn't school hours. While his fine was eventually dropped, he thinks some traffic cameras are needed.
Is there a need? I think there's a need in school zones.
That's why Phillips was irritated when we told him what we found. Millions of dollars in traffic fines collected legitimately, still sitting in an account, unused.
And it's not going where it's supposed to go? Well, that's a frustration, too.
Unspent on the things state lawmakers say the money should go to: schools and drainage infrastructure maintenance and improvements, such as cleaning out storm drains.
Of course, someone should be held accountable. I'm held accountable when I speed through a traffic camera, and that's something simple.
Fox 8 obtained documents from last December showing about $2.5 million in collected traffic camera fines sitting unspent in escrow. A top city official who spoke on condition of anonymity told us that number has now grown to more than $4 million, still in escrow, still unspent.
This is easy. This is not hard. There's lots of hard. This is not one of the hard ones.
Before legislators changed the law last summer, the money from traffic camera fines went to the City of New Orleans General Fund. Now, instead of the city deciding how to spend the money, state lawmakers mandated all fines collected from traffic cameras outside of school zones be used for drainage infrastructure maintenance and improvements. The law also states that money collected from traffic cameras in school zones must be split between the city and the school where the violation happened. That school, public or private, can use the money at its own discretion. But City Council member Joe Giarrusso says the mayor's office and schools couldn't agree on an exact breakdown.
And then we got frustrated, and by we I mean primarily me, with the city about the lack of what a split was supposed to be between the schools and the city. And so finally, because it couldn't be reconciled, we said 60-40, and I felt like that was fair because the city administers the program, they're responsible for the distribution, the capital costs, so we should get more of that money.
Even though the council agreed to the 60-40 split of the money from traffic cameras inside school zones, Giarrusso says the money still has not been spent since last summer after the state law passed. That money that's supposed to be going to projects is right now languishing?
Yes, it's sitting in an account.
Doing nothing?
Doing nothing.
Not earning interest?
Not that I'm aware of.
Not fixing problems?
Not fixing problems, not addressing catch basins, not for linear lights, not for kids, not for doing the things it's supposed to. And again, the money's been collected. The money's been collected. It's just sitting there.
I think citizens probably aren't aware of that, and that's why kind of investigative reporting is important on these matters.
Professor Brian Brox has lived in New Orleans for the past 2 decades. He's a two-lane political scientist who has watched New Orleans city government firsthand.
Everyone in the city has an interest in kind of efficient governing, and particularly when the needs pile up, the city and its citizens need to know that the people running the city are aware of what's going on, aware of the resources they have available to tackle problems.
Resources that are available, but Giarrusso says aren't being used for vital city services that residents rely on.
When their catch basin isn't cleaned, or when the linear line isn't cleaned, or the next time it floods and it's in front of their house and they want to know why, then they'll be outraged to know that the money is just sitting there and not doing as much as it ought to be.
Who's accountable?
The state has passed the laws, we've passed the laws, and that's what I tell people all the time. I can buy the light bulb, I can't screw it in. And so you need the enforcement arm to do that. In this case, I would say it lies with the CFO responsibility because Chief Financial Officer has a responsibility for dispersing those revenues and making sure the expenses are done.
We reached out to the CFO, Rami Samuel's office, to ask why the money has not been spent. We never heard back. And we asked the city's attorney and chief administrative officer, but got no response. We also asked their boss, Mayor LaToya Cantrell. Late Wednesday, her office sent us a statement that reads in part, "The city is currently in the process of reconciling collections from that date the state law took effect through the present to accurately determine the amount owed to the Sewage and Water Board of New Orleans." The same top city official who told us more than $4 million was sitting in escrow also said some decision makers in City Hall are frustrated by this. That high-ranking official says since the new law was passed, several different entities are now responsible for administering the traffic camera program and spending the money, meaning no one entity or person is accountable. That's the problem, the source told us.
Is that acceptable?
No, it's not acceptable to hold on to money for basic services. One of the problems we have right now, I think, is that the city is collecting more money, has more revenue, and residents feel like they're getting fewer services. It's a complaint we hear about all the time. Here you have money literally sitting in a bank account and just needs to be transferred over.
We asked both the school and sewage and water boards if they could use this money that's in escrow. In a statement, the Sewage and Water Board says the city has assured them they will get the money eventually. The statement goes on to say, "We are concerned that any further delays could slow down our catch basin cleaning efforts." School board officials did not return multiple requests for an answer.
Mayor Cantrell's office also said in its statement that the administration has been negotiating since last August with the school board over fees due to schools. The city did not mention private schools. The city's statement went on to say, "The city continues to work diligently with our school partners to finalize a cooperative endeavor agreement on camera ticket revenue. The school zone cameras remained on during negotiations for the safety and well-being of our school children in the city of New Orleans." You can read the full statement from Mayor Cantrell's office as well as the city ordinance and new state law. Just go to our website, fox8live.com.